Hello, I'm R.L. Stine. I write the Goosebumps books. In a few minutes, you're going to see one of my favorite stories come alive. The Haunted Mask is a frightening Halloween story about a girl named Carly Beth. The horror begins when Carly Beth puts on the evil haunted mask, and it ends when she discovers there is nothing more powerful than the love of her family and friends. What's so scary about that? You'll see. Viewers beware. You're in for a scare.
Welcome to the Dojo of Terror.
It's episode 40, and today we're talking Goosebumps.
When it comes to 90s nostalgia, very few franchises still hold the crown.
From television to films,
Books to video games,
Goosebumps has it all.
R.L. Stine, a legend of his time.
This Halloween, we get back to the basics. Spooky season, Halloween, one of my favorites. And to be here with you in the dojo talking about Goosebumps, man. I'm excited.
Before we get into the festivities of Halloween and the Dojo of Terror, I wanted to say that hitting episode 40 here in the dojo is, it means something to me. I'm very thankful that we've come this far on our journey. And for all of the original subscribers we have and all of the new subscribers we have, I'm excited for the future. Much like Goosebumps, I'm excited for the future of Back to the Basics.
Yeah, man. Episode 50 is coming.
Hey, yeah, we gonna get there. And Goosebumps is tied to something like my favorite 90s nostalgia aspect of all time, which is before we get into the scares, let's get into the treats.
Oh.
One little thing about the 90s and probably where we all got our Goosebumps books from.
Where would that be? What you talking about?
Scholastic book fairs.
Oh, the book fairs, man. The book fairs are so fire. Back in the day. All you ASMR heads out there, you're welcome. Complimentary of Josh.
Dude, I have $1 million idea. You're an attractive woman? I have $1 million idea. I'm straight up. If you are an attractive woman out there, I got $1 million, or dude, I guess, whatever. I got $1 million idea. An ASMR channel that an ASMR channel that tells spooky stories.
Okay, I thought you were gonna go somewhere else.
Instead of Goosebumps, call the channel Tingles.
Tingles. Okay, Shivers.
Yes, bro, exactly. Shivers was it like a, what was it? It was like a ripoff.
So it was inspired by Goosebumps.
Okay, is that the word we use? Inspired by,
inspiration, baby. Hey, even Goosebumps was inspired by something, and we'll get into that. But Shivers, I mean, just real quick, like Shivers was somebody's story, right? They were inspired by Goosebumps.
We're talking ASMR, bro. Tingles. No, I'm just kidding.
Tingles.
But tingles is what you get when we experience ASMR.
Nah, man, I get goosebumps.
Yeah, exactly. I get them goosebumps every time.
Yeah.
I'm feeling nostalgic.
Shut your mouth!
Okay, because that's not gonna stop me.
Scholastic book fairs. Do you have memories of that?
I have very fond memories of Scholastic book fairs, man. Goosebumps, rolled doll books.
What you keep saying that? What is that?
Roald
I
Dahl
know
is like the BFG and James and the Giant Peach, I think, right? Roald Dahl.
Okay.
Right up there with R.L. Stine, right? Goosebumps.
No. Nobody's up there with R.L. Stine.
He was big in the 90s.
Okay.
Scholastic book fairs. He was everywhere. Much like someone else, I guess, who was big at the time in book fairs, who kind of started taking away from the Goosebumps shine, right?
We don't say his name. No, but what was really cool about the Scholastic book fairs, man, is there was I don't think it's matched. If you grew up in the 90s and went to a Scholastic book fair, back when schools were cool, right?
If you were a fool.
No, okay, so knowing you had money for a Goosebumps book, at least one, that morning, I can smell and feel the air, dude. The presence of the morning of a Scholastic book fair, knowing you're getting a Goosebumps book. Yeah. Oh, there's something nostalgic in the air.
Honestly, man, what comes to my mind is like walking up to school with a little red wagon, little red flyer, like pacing behind you, right? Like that's not even a memory of mine, but that's what I think of.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
when I think of
took your
Scholastic
wagon to
book
school,
fairs,
bro?
right? Like you got it filled with books. Like I'm talking Matilda, bro. Like just carrying around books.
You pulling that radio flyer out of the short bus. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
But that's like what my mind goes to, right? It's like you're excited for school. You're gonna go get a new book.
Little pencil case.
Like I had coupons and shit. Like there was
coupons.
You could get coupons for Scholastic books, bro. Like
Man.
I don't know, but it was a time to be alive.
What
man.
a time.
What a time.
And
y'all know nothing about that.
Fast forward to the television show.
Okay, yeah.
Bro,
Goosebumps.
The Goosebumps in the 90s was everywhere. Like you couldn't walk into a store without seeing some sort of merchandising. I'm talking on the levels of George Lucas marketing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was pretty big, bro. It was Star Wars big, bro.
There was everything, bro. You wanted Goosebumps flip-flops, bro? There's probably Goosebumps flip-flops out there.
They did have a lot of merch. Like there was just like t-shirts and rulers and book.
Goosebumps is on your cereal box. It's on your TV set. It's in your school. It's everywhere.
They got board games and video games.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
Video games. You know what was wild? I didn't know this until we were doing the research for this episode.
Yeah.
But back in the 90s, the first video game they did was for PC. I mean, they got the devil himself involved in Goosebumps.
What are you talking about,
Bill
man?
Gates!
Oh my God.
They got him involved.
Mr. Microsoft.
Dude, they got Steven Spielberg involved for this. It was one of those
that's wild.
Like point and clicks, which was fire in the 90s.
Okay.
That might be predating your memory, bro.
I'm like, bro, I'm not
clicks
into
on the PC, bro.
games.
Mist and all the beautiful days. They got Steven Spielberg to shoot shots. Who was the dude from Jeff Goldblum?
Okay.
He played Dracula. If you've never seen that, you need to see it.
My beauty. Don't hide your eyes. Losing marks.
How do you know my name?
Power. It's what I have. It's what I am. That pathetic Madison Storm thinks he runs this place, but that's just because that's what I allow him to think. See? Now listen. You and I are gonna dance.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about Goosebumps. What are you talking about, Dracula?
Bro, Jeff Goldblum was Dracula, directed by Steven Spielberg, with the devil co-signing Bill Gates himself.
You can start checking his pockets for that handle.
Hey. Stay away from me. Nitwit.
What are we talking about?
Oh man, it's getting spooky and sweaty here in the dojo.
These lights are crazy.
Man, there's just so much rich history in the 90s in
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. The green slime, right? It's like 90s was just filled with green slime.
Monster
Neon.
blood.
Say cheese and die.
The oversaturated colors
Yeah.
of the artwork on the books were something to behold.
That's something of my favorite.
I
right?
mean,
like it's just pops.
We put them on our walls nowadays. They're works of art, bro.
Hey man, I was lucky enough to find these and I love them, and I'm gonna have to build and add to my collection because I didn't keep them as a kid. Like, unfortunately, my brother had a lot.
Really?
And I would probably either steal or read his.
Hey, brother,
right?
man,
Like,
let's get them Goosebumps.
You got some of them Goosebumps books?
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm a little envious of anyone who has their nostalgic books.
I wish, man.
I wish I had.
some.
I think I may have one.
Oh.
But I don't think I have my original collection, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your straight out the gate favorite book?
So wait, hold on. You're asking me what's my favorite Goosebumps book?
What up?
Yo.
Yeah, man, about the Halloween episode.
Hello, Josh and Eddie. What's your favorite Goosebumps book? I prefer Horrorland.
I mean, I already said it. It's Say Cheese and Die, bro. I don't know why. Like, and it may be linked to the episode Say Cheese and Die because it's like very vivid in my memory. But just that whole concept of you have a camera that takes pictures of people and then they die. Like, what?
It's super creepy.
Haunted camera.
I love the concept about Say Cheese and Die, how the iconic cover of the like barbecue picnic was drawn, and that imagery wasn't actually in the story.
And I didn't know that.
And
that was news to me.
R.L. Stine like shoehorned it into the story afterwards as a dream sequence.
Really cool. And the cool thing about that is I'm pretty sure you can go back to the episode and you can find that cover is a shot in the actual episode. They have the family there and then they take the Polaroid and it's the same Polaroid from the book.
Epic.
Super epic.
Absolutely classic.
From book to screen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I would probably have to go on record as saying The Haunted Mask.
Of course. The original 2-part episode,
As an adult, I just thinking back retrospectively on The Haunted Mask and watching it in the dojo is like a child being bullied. And you know what's wild is that scene when she's getting bullied with Carly Beth, right?
Carly Beth!
That scene when she's getting bullied and there's like 15 kids and they're all pointing at her.
Bro, that's messed up.
It's like, I don't think they would write that into a children's show nowadays just because it would be too aggressive. Bullying, maybe? Which is some bullshit.
Goosebumps has a lot of wild shit like that.
Wow, it's the 90s, man. Back when life was real.
You can put blood on the screen on a children's TV show.
Thinking about a child wanting to escape behind a mask, and then in a wicked turn of events, the mask being like crafted by real skin, and it like, what is it, like possessing?
Yeah, it kind of like takes her over. She starts to become
Where are my eyes?
the people who she's wearing, right?
These aren't my eyes.
Yeah, it's crazy. She starts to like become that mask, and the fact that it's made by real skin, I think, starts to like take her over, and she starts treating people different. And she's like, like she's
She's fucking loving it.
yeah,
dude.
bro. Because she's like, hey, you fuck with me now. I'm gonna scare you.
What's wild is she's running around with this entity that has taken her over, and she's holding her head. She's like, oh, this is like kind of like this is who I used to be, and it's like, like I'm carrying it around like a fucking trident, like a trophy, like this is who I used to be, but this is who I am.
And she even says too, she's like me and Carly Beth, right? She's like me and Carly Beth, and it's just really weird, bro. That part always creeped me out because her face just looked too weird.
It
looks
super wild.
weird.
I absolutely love the episode of the book, and it's interesting when you think about these stories as adults, and you're just like, some of them over the top,
of course,
cringe and cheesy. So cheesy and cringe, and in a good way though, right?
Correct. Back in the 90s, cheese was in, bro. Chuck E. Cheese, give it to me, right?
Say
like
cheese and
say cheese and die. And the fact that like you have like much like the masks that we have on the wall right next to us, right? It's like that's what Halloween was when you were a kid, though. You're putting on costumes, you're putting on masks, you're walking around like these scary characters, bro.
Yeah.
And that was what everyone loved about Halloween, and obviously what you can see everyone loved about the books.
Mhm.
There's something that kids love about these books.
Well, obviously.
Most popular like book series next to Harry Potter?
Well, I believe it was Scholastic's #1 bestseller.
For years.
And then Harry Potter came along and somehow like,
fuck that wizard! Get out of here!
I must be the one to kill Harry Potter.
Get out of here!
We don't talk about, I said his name. Oh shit, we gonna die. in the
Stephen
dojo
who?
today.
Let me tell you something about Steve King. Steve King wishes he could write like me. And I've sold way more books than him, but nobody ever talks about that!
Okay.
Way more books!
Dad,
Go!
your face is doing the red thing again.
We gotta get into Jack Black and the shenanigans of the film.
Crazy.
But it's crazy how like the whole Harry Potter Scholastic concept, it was like this beautiful symmetry of like Goosebumps was riding super high, world record breaking, and then it like took a back seat. Harry Potter came, took the front seat.
And then Goosebumps said, nah, fam, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Harry Potter ended, and then it retracted, and Goosebumps came back onto the scene to take the spot.
Much like this year, Goosebumps is back and alive and well, baby.
Man. I would say, though, when I was a child, something about the cover of Monster Blood.
Yeah, you mentioned that one a lot.
The staircase.
The stairs and the bleeding staircase.
Oh.
Another one of mine, obviously, Horrorland. I think it's like on one of all these books right here in front of me. Night of the Living Dummy, right? Return of the Living Dummy.
Deep Trouble. I'm going to say Deep Trouble was literally the reason I still have anxiety when I get in water.
You don't like that one?
Bro, there's something underneath me. Much like Jaws, right? There's something underneath you, bro.
Crazy.
There's always something bigger than you.
There's always a bigger fish.
But from the books to the TV, fast forward.
They got movies, huh?
There is some beautiful information that many might not know about what once could have been with a film in the 90s.
Oh, bro, when you told me this, I had no idea. I was like, wait, one of my favorite directors of my favorite Halloween movies was gonna do a Goosebumps movie?
Who'd that be?
Mr. Tim Burton! Nightmare Before Christmas himself.
Burton was gonna direct
The
a
Batman!
Goosebumps movie in the 90s, and shit you not, who wrote a screenplay for it?
That's a good question.
George Romero.
Oh, Oh,
the
nice.
father of the zombies. I just don't.
How do you not do that movie?
I don't know.
What? Like, bro, if you told me there was a Goosebumps movie by those two people, take my money.
Yeah.
Like, sign me up. Where's the tickets?
Release that, even though it wasn't
Bruh,
made.
yeah,
But
make that. Tim Burton.
So
if you're out there, Goosebumps
The
is waiting.
script was Dead House,
Okay.
which involves flesh-eating monsters.
Never heard of them. Never
heard of them.
Never heard of 'em.
Wonder why George
Crazy.
Romero wanted to write that story. That would have been amazing, dude.
Crazy. No, but it would have been really great. And I think Tim Burton would have been perfect for it, right? Because he just has that look of just creepiness. And so he would have been able to add that element to Goosebumps.
And whatever happened with that, there was like all this nonsense where through the rise of Goosebumps, there was some finger pointing with Scholastic and R.L. Stine.
What I got from it was there was just too many stories. You have so many stories of Goosebumps that you just can't pick one to do.
62 original books in the original series.
Over 400 million copies sold worldwide.
Absolutely
Crazy.
wild. R.L. Stine.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
A legend. Bye.
But
GOAT.
the question is, did he have ghostwriters?
Oh, no. You talking about the TV series from the 90s?
Ghost Rider. What a trip.
Ghost Riders, right?
Oh, I love it. So
That's what I heard.
So apparently Scholastic said that Mr. Stine, you only did 16. Apparently he
only did 16?
Apparently
Who wrote the rest of
they
the 50 copies?
blamed him for doing only the first 16, and then after the first 16, sales started to decline.
Well, you gotta hire a crew, bro. You famous.
So,
like, what?
So there was Scholastic sued R.L. Stine.
That's crazy. That's
Some
nuts.
crazy 90s themed lawsuit of the fact that it was breaking contract, but then in some loophole, there was something in R.L. Stine's contract where he could use ghostwriters. And he did come out and say, I use ghostwriters to basically create plot outlines.
That's what I kind of like when I was researching a little bit, right? I guess like his sister-in-law kind of like helped him with it, and she's last name Stine too. And I was just like, okay, I mean, family's gonna help you, bro. It's like, hey, I gotta get this deadline of these books. Can you like proofread that, right? Can you think of something? Like,
apparently R.L. Stine and the artist, they had like 30-day deadlines.
That's nuts.
That's wild.
Imagine
and there's
that.
rumors out there that R.L. Stine would write a book in 2 days.
I think they mentioned that in the movie too. He's like, oh, I once wrote a book in like a day. And I'm like, whoa, what?
And then I've also heard like 12 days, 9 days. You don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like super wild.
You had to be there. You had
to be there. Maybe we'll pick R.L. Stine's brain one day.
Hey, man, that would be cool.
But it's interesting how the lawsuit came out, because I think after that, ghostwriters did come out with the modern age of social media.
Yeah.
People would come out and be like, yeah, I was one of the ghostwriters. What?
Oh, so
here's proof. And
they
like
came
that.
forward and was like, I wrote an R.L. Stine book.
After all the lawsuit stuff, R.L. Stine ended up selling Goosebumps to Scholastic.
Crazy. So he doesn't own it
For
anymore?
like $9.8 million. No, he sold it. I'm sure he still writes.
Much like George Lucas selling Star Wars, right? Eventually, you got to move on from your stories that you tell.
But here's the thing. Here's the difference between Disney and Scholastic. Scholastic has kept it afloat, right?
Yep.
But they haven't milked it. They haven't milked it. You're not seeing a Goosebumps movie every year.
No.
Right?
It was like, I think 2015 was the first one. 2017 was the second one. And there was talks to do a third one. But instead they pivoted to the new TV show.
Never oversaturate, unless you're a Goosebumps cover book, on the cover.
62 different copies.
Saturate
of
the
Goosebumps.
covers, but no, never oversaturate the market. And that's what's happened
Correct.
with so many franchises from the past. You get these greedy companies that will just make way too much.
It's kind of special that there's only 2 films. And if you go back and watch them, they're both really good, bro. Like the second one's not as great, but it had less of a budget, right? I think we were going over. But the first one, the director and whoever wrote it, really well done.
That one really feels like a film production, and it actually stands up really well. When we watched it, I was like, I kind of remember it being worse than it is.
Me too. Like, because when it came out, I want to say I saw it and I was just like, but like now I went back and watched it with a fresh pair of eyes. I'm like, bro, this is good.
Pretty good. The cast was wonderful. I love the fact that the daughter of R.L. Stine, which is portrayed by Jack Black, that she is one of the creations. She's a monster.
Crazy. And the fact that Jack Black not only plays R.L. Stine, the GOAT, but he also plays Slappy, the dummy. He voice acts for Slappy.
Not him. Hello, Papa.
Capstone, fucking give it to me.
Yeah.
Slappy the dummy, Night of the Living Dummy. And that whole movie is basically about Slappy. And
Jack
his, like, revenge.
Black carried that production on his back.
Yeah.
He did an amazing job. They did a 90s hip hop themed music video for the movie. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't, man. Like, you gotta show it to me.
You're in for a scare.
But okay, Bowser, I see you.
So yeah, Bowser's little song. Jack Black's done it before.
He
right?
said,
With
been there,
Goosebumps.
done that, right?
And he knows what works, and let's do it again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, hey man, I love Jack Black's portrayal of R.L. Stine.
Very good.
And
he was
that
really good.
film's good. The second film, all done by the same production house, I believe.
Correct, just a different director.
One thing I do like about the second film is it gave me a lot of the Goosebumps television series vibes.
Yeah, it's a little less of a big budget production, so like the film quality is different, the story is a little bit different, but it just has that like low budget TV show film vibe. And I kind of really liked that. I was with it. We watched it. I had never seen it, so that was new to me, the whole movie. Some of the characters were pretty good. But compared to the first one, I think obviously the first one is a lot better.
Comparing the first and second film.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the first one, like it's more film cinematic. The second one is more, I feel like it was like perfectly 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe the screenplay was written for like a 3-episode pilot for television, but they're just like, well, we could just make this a film.
And they both made their money back. Plus, right?
Yeah.
They were both box office successes, which is why we probably see 2023, October 13th.
We watched the first episode.
Today.
Say cheese.
And I
was so happy with
Epic.
everything that I saw.
Justin Long's performance, really good. I'm pretty sure that boy R.L. Stine. I'm just going to say it. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. That's the vibe I get.
I know
right?
it's not in the official synopsis.
Yeah,
he plays a school teacher.
Dr. Brat or Mr. Brat or something like that.
Yeah.
But the one character, the one person who shined on that new show,
Isaiah.
That's his
character
name.
Yeah, character name.
I think it's like Zach something, his real name. But his character and
phenomenal.
His charisma on screen was something to see.
I don't watch a lot of like mainstream media anymore.
Correct, yeah.
But I had stopped and I turned to you and I was like, bro, I don't know if it's me or if this dude's acting is just phenomenal.
It was really good.
He was on, bro. He was on. It's his show.
Yeah.
Like,
and-
I was like, Justin Long's going to carry the show. I said that when we watched the trailer, but I was wrong.
Let's get dangerous.
One of the coolest things about after all of the years and all of the stories of Goosebumps and R.L. Stine, the film with Jack Black went super meta. And I think that was the reason for its success, amongst other things. But the idea and the concept that everything R.L. Stine wrote with his magic, supernatural typewriter, the stories, the characters come to life.
That was actually one of my favorite parts about the movie, and it really got me thinking about, like, you know how we have all these characters on our show?
Guess so, yeah.
You know, like Freddy, Jason.
Dude, that would be super...
Sounds like a dream to me.
A beautiful piece of information about the Haunted Mask is the inspiration was one Halloween, R.L. Stine comes back from the festivities with his child. His child was wearing a green Frankenstein mask and had trouble removing it.
Oh man, yeah, when it was masked that tight, you can't get it off. You gotta rip that thing off, big baby. That's really cool to know. And just talking about the inspiration, where R.L. Stine got all his inspiration from, right? Another interesting fact is, I guess, when he was younger, he would read the Tales from the Crypt comic books. Woo. I'm a big fan of Tales from the Crypt. I grew up with the show, and my brother would watch it a lot, which probably speaks volumes to why I love Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark and all that shit. Because it's just Tales from the Crypt. The fucking that dude was psycho, and so obviously it inspired R.L. Stine, and that's really cool.
That's super cool. I mean, imagine being inspired from a comic book. What a world.
What a world to live in, baby.
R.L. Stine has gone on record for saying something wild, and it just adds so much the creep value to his character. Is he's on record for stating that the joy he gets from writing stories that scare children is immeasurable. And I love that.
Psychopath.
100% psychopath. What were you telling me about this Fear Street?
Bro, you haven't heard of Fear Street?
Well, I've heard of it.
Okay. So you haven't seen it though, right?
Seen or read.
Oh, exactly. So R.L. Stine, before he was even king of horror, right? Before he had written any Goosebumps books, apparently he had a previous novel titled Fear Street. And Fear Street was what got him kind of like on the scene, on the map. And apparently like his publicist or his editor at the time was like, look, you're gearing stuff towards these young adults is great, but what if you wrote books for children? It's a whole market out there that isn't being tapped. And that leads us to the Goosebumps. But what's really awesome is Netflix adapted it to a movie.
I remember when it came out, I had multiple people tell me, you need to watch this. It's like set in the 90s, it's classic horror, and you're going to love it. And I was like, oh, no, I got to do this, I got to do that, and I'm all in my own world. And now that this 2023 Goosebumps is out there, we watch the first episode, we find it phenomenal, we find it intriguing, we find it spooky and scary. I'm super intrigued to go back and check out Fear Street.
Fear Street, 1994. It's the first film. Apparently, there's 3. Go back and watch all 3 of them. I haven't even watched them, so maybe we could watch them together.
But the real question is, want to see me eat a worm?
Oh, no, man, that's gross. Oh, he did it. Oh, get away from me with that. You could go eat worms. I'm good.
Isaiah and a lot of the cast of this new show, the 2023 one, I find a bit phenomenal. I don't know why I like it so much. Maybe just because of the nostalgia, right?
Yeah, maybe.
But
maybe
even
that.
when you compare and contrast, like we're off the cusp of mutant mayhem and the mess and the disaster and the disrespect that holds and what Nickelodeon is doing with that compared to what Scholastic has done with this.
Bravo, Scholastic, bravo.
And I know not everyone is going to like the modern aspects to some of the characters for the new show, right? But what I will say is, for me personally, I'm so sick and tired of like hating all of this nonsense that comes out in modern media.
Okay.
Most of it is the oversaturated market.
Yeah, the pushing of like whatever agendas are out there, right? To meet certain
Wheezing the cow's milk.
meeting certain quotas or certain hires, whatever,
Yeah.
right? But the thing that I focused on was like it was able to capture the magic of Goosebumps. And that is what sparked me right now is watching the show earlier. Multiple times you and I both got full body goosebumps.
100%. And it's so wild. And now I have them literally right now, bro. I loved every single frame of
They
the
shot it
first
really well.
episode. Every frame. I felt there was no filler in that episode. It was boom to the boom.
That's what I mentioned. When we watched it, I was like, they have gone from A to B the whole time and they just kept moving. Like the whole first episode is just like doom, 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 doom.
It was very well produced. And it's wild when you turn to me and you're like, do you know that this is directed by the director of the original Goosebumps movie?
The first Goosebumps movie has the same director in the new first episode. And apparently he's going to, well, he wrote the last episode. I don't know if he's going to
First and the last episode. Episode 1, episode 10.
10. Yep. So there's going to be 10 episodes in this new first season of this series. Hopefully they get more.
Looking at the episode titles has me so excited for the next month of Goosebumps.
So nostalgic because every title is a Goosebumps book. Goosebumps banger, bro.
Banger after banger, and it ends on episode 10, Welcome to Horrorland, which leads me to believe this is just the beginning of so much more.
How do you end a season on Welcome to Horrorland? Crazy.
I really, really hope this is a positive project and we're going to get more of this. But if it is once a generation and we don't see Goosebumps until further in the future, then let's see what the next month holds, because this is just wild. And
it's a ride, and I'm glad that we're here in the dojo and we get to talk about it and we can ride that wave, because for the next month and a half, like, we're going to be watching it. Every Super Tuesday, we watching Goosebumps.
Far past Halloween, we stay spooky in the dojo.
And we stay nostalgic.
Man, you are a dummy.
Who you calling dummy? Dummy? What another epic Halloween in the dojo.
We stay spooky and we stay nostalgic. And when it comes to nostalgic properties that are still in the mainstream media of things, it's so refreshing to see it handled with love and care.
Man, it's Halloween and it doesn't get much better than Goosebumps. And I'm excited that the future for Goosebumps looks bright.
The new show, so far, we're one episode in and it looks promising. I'm super excited on what this is going to do for the future of the franchise, man.
Yeah, the Goosebumps books are still alive and well, and I'm excited for everything that's to come with it.
Here in the dojo, we stay spooky
and we stay nostalgic,
and the future
is bumpy.